hyperconverged arrays and a very dedicated team. So if you could go into a presentation of that type, that would be useful, and I can share it with them, and then perhaps I can drive some questions with them. Okay?
Okay. And feel free to ask questions
Great.
along the way. So last time, I think what we did first was we covered the first 5 or 6 charts just in a PowerPoint. The rest was a demo. Do you want me to go through the PowerPoint that frames up who? Okay. So Visual Storage Intelligence.
This is not necessarily for me alone, but for the rest of the team. All right?
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so Visual Storage Intelligence is a product that we've been around for about since 2012 is when we came to market. This chart's a little bit old in terms of the number of things that we analyze. Let me close this window so you can see everything. So what we do is we analyze, we do storage reporting and analytics. So we're not a monitoring tool. We are a SaaS-based offering, so all of our delivery back to the customer is based on, is through a web browser. So data is collected on a periodic basis. You, the customer, control that periodic basis. You upload your data, we parse it all up, put it in relational databases, give it back to you for business decision making. And so one of the advantages of that is, obviously, as we release new functions, and everything is available to everybody. So as we go forward and other customers may be asking for things, all things are available to all customers. In our first year of announcement of our product initial offering, we were actually a finalist for Product of the Year, and the 2 other vendors were IBM and EMC. One of those 2 products actually use us for the storage analytics when they have a one-time assessment. So it was both for IBM, which is a product called VSC, and Dell was a product. It was basically the product Quest, which was the performance analysis tool that was purchased and then bundled as a separate name. Quest actually used us for their own performance analysis when they struggled with something, and IBM VSC offering was a rebundling of existing things. But we really do different, fundamentally different things. We looked at the market early on, and what we discovered was there's 2 kinds of tools. One is the real-time monitoring alerting tool that every vendor has. These are typically high-end tools that monitor everything on a moment-to-moment basis that you would use to drill in and find a particular operational issue right down to the LUN, hype, or whatever it happens to be. These tools are typically in the millions of dollars, fairly expensive, and usually require at least one person dedicated just to maintaining the tool itself outside of the storage arrays. In most cases, they're vendor specific. They may have, IBM might support other vendors, but not typically a broad range, and typically not with the same depth that they support their own products. And the other probably most popular product by a significant margin, like over 90% of customers we encountered were still doing manual spreadsheet processing for reporting and analytics, even if they had the monitoring tools. So our goal was to set out, and we said, listen, the arrays have all the data. When a customer opens an incident with a vendor, they send that same data up to the vendor in their support, upload your support data. We're just going to repurpose that data and turn it back over to the customer by putting it in relational tables so that then our imagination's our limitation. So we not only do reporting and analytics on configuration data, performance data. Once we have the data in a database, we can do trends over time. So you can predict the future. You can get forecasting information. We allow for showbacks, chargebacks, so you can have $1 per assigned to arrays and assigned to specific storage groups, and track who's using what to make sure the right resources are being used by the right people. These are enabling the storage management process for us is that the typical users are not the storage admin people, but they might be a significant benefactor. In their case, many times in organizations, the management team will come and ask for something that requires the storage management team to then go to individual arrays, collect some data, build a spreadsheet, build whatever it happens to be. It might be a custom script, which if it is the case, then it's typically maintained by an individual, and if that individual walks away, then the script's ability to support the customer may or available. So we're doing planning and reporting across the environment, deep analytics, both at the array level. We actually provide 7 levels of reporting. You'll see that in the demonstration, all the way from a business function down to the host LUN detail and a series of layers in between. So 2 of the layers are customer configurable, where you can choose how you want to group your business units and your applications. The rest of the layers come from the array itself, all the way from an enterprise level, a data center level, a host level, a LUN level. So that's the kind of analysis that we do across the environment. And we're really trying to enable single pane of glass reporting for storage and a single version of the truth. That's why this circular chart of the planning process, analysis process, reporting process, and everybody's using the same information rather than each individual maintaining their own piece of information. What we do, this is really this, and the next chart will be the last 2 charts I'll show. This just shows what we do. We are non-intrusive. We don't require anything to be installed at the customer site. From a SaaS reporting perspective, we ask for a virtual machine primarily to say how often do you the customer control, how often do you want to run the data collection scripts, and then how often do you want to FTP the data to Visual Storage Intelligence. So there's nothing to install. The scripts are all standard command line interface scripts that every vendor has their standard. We use those standard command lines primarily because we get the most depth of analysis from that. If the array doesn't support command line, we will do an at-rest API if that's the only way to do it. But we collect the data, process it all online. All of the data processing happens in the cloud, and all the reports are delivered in the cloud. And then the analysis that we perform, this is really one chart that says everything we do. At the far left, top left-hand side storage health, it's an individual array analysis. So we analyze the array, what we call from the inside out, the outside in, to make sure everything is configured properly. If not configured properly, we have categories of red light, green lights, and we show you here's a red light condition and what the condition is. So all the way from this weekend, we had a customer install some new arrays, and we pointed out to them these arrays, while functioning, have our reporting shelf errors so that one of the failing parts had failed over to another part, so the customer could go get that resolved quickly before the takeover part had any issues. And we give it to you at the enterprise level, so so you can have different vendor products all installed. We'll summarize for you up to the enterprise level what and how storage is being used, where free space is available, where you've over-provisioned, and those kinds of things. Deep performance analysis and business unit reporting. Our performance analysis, we track 4 things across all arrays: latency, IOPS, megabytes per second, and node utilization. So those 4 metrics are, in some cases, node utilization might not be provided. Some arrays just track the top 3. But those are the 4 things we track over time so you can see, and we track it at all levels, from the array itself down to the individual pool, if there are multiple pools in an array, to the node, and then to the host and LUN. So we can actually see what is the host performance all the way up to what's the array performance. And we actually then integrate that into our business unit reporting. So we show you what your business unit, who's using what kind of storage, and the performance that each business unit is receiving. And then the bottom layer is more detailed reports for capacity planning, provision reporting, which allows us to actually group and show you what's been allocated versus what's been used, and show you some differences between free space that's been provisioned and free space that has not yet been provisioned. A flash analyzer is every single array that has performance data. A flash analysis is done and a report is posted into the account each time that array is uploaded, primarily to give people a perspective of where is the target-rich environment for a flash array, or is there specific hosts or LUNs that would benefit from an all-flash environment. Primarily in this case to enable the decisions where people don't want to move everything to a flash array, but they want to know where's my best bang for the buck, where am I doing the most I/O, where am I not getting the worst performance, and or not hitting cache at the appropriate levels. And then VMware Analytics, we collect VMware primarily for our business unit reporting, but we do collect all the data about performance analysis, or not performance analysis, about the configuration right from the virtual machine up to the physical machines and clusters. So we can report that. The online displays are all about the storage in the VMware environment, but the PDF report that is placed into the account actually includes cluster analysis, ESX host analysis, and virtual machine summary information. So with that, I will end the PowerPoint portion of this and just walk into a demo